Hello and welcome to the Filmageddon podcast. Things are a bit strange at the minute, and I think I might actually be trapped in a retro games console. I know we've been joking about it for quite a few weeks now, but guys, it has happened, and unfortunately I can't be here for the podcast, so I'm gonna have to leave it to the Quizlings. Adam and Blair, they're gonna have to pick it up and run with it because I am trapped here. I think it's an old tennis game of some sort, maybe like Virtual Tennis 3 on the PlayStation 3. I know the PlayStation 3 isn't exactly a retro console, but it is last gen. I mean, really, when you think about it, the PlayStation 4 is gonna be last gen in like a year or two, and I mean, we can really get into it and talk some video games if you'd like. I mean, I've got PlayStation 4. You can find me at Catboy Rents. Do you use an app for PlayStation? I don't know. I don't think so. But, add me as a friend, and maybe once in a while we'll do some Chicken Boy stuff. Yeah, I've got a 3DS. I used to have a DS. I traded in, got a 3DS. Now I have a Switch as well. What do you have? Let me know. Just send me an email. Not me personally. You can send it to Filmageddon Film... Wait, no. I mean, there's a podcast happening here, and I'm trapped. Help. Adam, Blair, it's up to you!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Filmageddon podcast. Myself, Adam Grundy, here on the hosting duties today, and I am alongside my good friend, my Quizling, who I'm a Quizling, but he's also a Quizling, because this is the Filmageddon, not the quiz, it's the podcast, based on the very popular number one quiz. I'm with Blair Tracy. Hi, Blair.
Yeah. Woo, new dynamic. What's going on? I don't think we've ever done one where it's just been me and you before.
We do speak a lot often, but we probably avoid having this one-to-one. I think some people are going to enjoy the dynamic, some people won't. Some people will, I hope, because the infinite universes that we live in, I hope this has turned at least somebody on.
Ooh, you know what? I think it might be Frank.
I was going to say, let me be frank for a moment, but there is no replacing the Quizmaster, the host of the podcast, who is, at this moment, currently fighting in the jungles of Burma, which we might hear more from him this episode.
Don't know if it's called Burma anymore, but, well, who are we to judge?
It's called Myanmar, but, we don't have to... Who cares?
He's in a jungle, a mighty jungle, that the lion sleeps in.
Well, Blair, it's interesting to be doing the podcast again, especially last week. It was very interesting to listen to you guys. I felt like I just wanted to jump in about 50 million times, apart from when you guys were talking about Evangelion, where I learned a lot about Evangelion from you. If anyone didn't listen to the podcast last week, the guys, which is Blair and Frank, were talking about Evangelion, and you guys kind of broke down this, like, who you would cast if you were to do like a live action thing. You basically whitewashed it, but it was
yes,
was class the way you just started, and you're like, just from the get go, we're whitewashing this film.
I wanted to get ahead of all the. I mean, if anyone got upset to be, we cancelled ourselves, basically. It's fine. You take the power away from them, and they're helpless. But, the people that want to cancel you, not, But, it was... We tried to keep it, as entertaining as possible, even when you're talking about something that's strange and depressing, and but still, go and listen to it if you didn't, obviously. And then watch it. It's all on Netflix now, so go and indulge, because it made Frank and I the people we are today. Are we good people? Probably not. So
yeah, that's not a good. I take from that what you will. I think for the good and bad, it's made you. I did feel a bit like when Frank last week was like, "Oh, Adam said he was going to watch it, but blah blah blah," and I did say I was going to watch it, and even after I listened to the podcast, I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to watch it," but I don't get internet until tomorrow, so I've not even had like Netflix or anything, so I can't even watch, because I've heard that like the new one is like the voices are different, or they've changed whatever. So yep. I can't even watch a new version just to to add my 2 cents. But anyway, we did have a big question from last week, didn't we?
An eight-legged question.
Oh, do you remember the word for word what the question was?
It was verbatim. It was
yes, verbatim. Answer the question. Come on, I'm harder now.
Okay, so verbatim it was, Frank is scared of spiders, and he's going to a jungle filled with spiders.
Oh my God.
So what is your favourite film that has spiders in it? That's exactly verbatim what we said. Frank's afraid of spiders, he's afraid of everything, he's a big scaredy cat, and that's why we brought it up, because he's gone to the jungle and he's afraid of spiders. Is that Am I right? Am I in the ballpark?
I'm gonna give you an 8 out of 10.
Brilliant.
And yeah, it was pretty much that. So let's start it off with a few of the answers that we got. We got Robert Heath, at Robert C. Heath, who's Filmageddon's own. He's actually done a podcast, or two actually, for Filmageddon.
And I think a shot for shot.
And a shot for shot. That's true. So hello, hi Rob.
Hi, Rob.
And he has said Dr. No, and it's hard not to say Home Alone as well.
No, yeah, because the tarantula goes on his face and he hits him in the face. Remember it whenever he's... Yeah, that's the spider part.
Oh, that's a comedy film.
Yes, a bit slapstick.
It is, and we're all surprised Macaulay Culkin is still alive in the year of our Lord 2019.
And I think he has a podcast.
Is he next on the nonce list for you?
No, he got nonced himself. Oh, wait, no, that's exactly how it happens.
Oh,
God.
Okay. Smoke follows fire. Wait,
aye.
fire follows smoke. No, one of them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's get the Filmageddon lawyer on the phone before we discuss this further, because I feel like we might be incriminating ourselves by saying...
The Filmageddon lawyer at this point is just this... I think it's Frank's dog. And Leo is a fantastic... He's got a lot of bite.
Yeah, he's
and
great
a lot
at fetch.
of bark.
Fetching.
Yeah, exactly. The evidence.
Fetching fucking, I don't know, wins. He wins us from not getting into prison. That's what he does.
Fetching some wins. That's
Good boy, Leo.
Yeah, that famous phrase.
Yeah.
We've also got at Mr. Jimmy Fletcher, who says Arachnophobia, but also 1977's Kingdom of the Spiders. I don't think there's ever been a better named film than Kingdom of the Spiders.
Yeah, I like that. It leaves absolutely zero to the imagination because you know what you're going in for.
Yeah, that was definitely the days of just like, we need to name a film literally what it's called. It's like, so in this film, it's Nancy goes to the park and she meets a beautiful stranger. What should we call it? 1935's Nancy goes to the park and meets an incredible stranger.
Yeah. I mean, those were simpler days.
They were. But also, actually, other Quisling, Luke Ibbotson, said Arachnophobia was his favourite film.
Oh, no, I don't think he said it was his favourite film. No, maybe he did. Maybe he
he did.
He persistently messaging us going, hey guys, did you know Arachnophobia is my favourite film of all time? And then we thought, oh, all right, we'll throw him a bone this week and ask him about spiders.
Spiders can't eat bones. That's a fact, though.
You know, I'll take your... Don't
ask me how I know.
I don't doubt that.
No, it's not his favourite film, but I did ask him, what's your favourite film with spiders in? And he said, I had Arachnophobia on VHS, and I don't think he's seen it since. But yeah, him and Jimmy... That looks like it's the leading film, because J_, I'm always intrigued by an underscore, McLaughlin83 said Krull. Now, I had to look up Krull. Have you heard of Krull?
Nope, never heard of it, except for the goalkeeper.
Tim. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this looks like a film... Frank's very knowledgeable of films, so I imagine Frank's seen this. But it's Krull is a 1983 British-American science fantasy swashbuckler, and it's about a guy who goes to fucking planet Krull to save a future queen princess Lissa and from the beast. Oh, anyway, there's spiders in that film apparently, but I've never seen it. But I'm also an idiot. I was nearly to say something else then. And finally, Johnny Naylor on Instagram said, Into the Spider-Verse. Is there a spider in that? Yes. Did we say that you can't really have Spider-Man? I guess we did.
But who cares? There's no rules, really, at the end of the day.
There's no rules.
We just want people to talk to us about spiders.
Yeah, exactly. Now, how can he talk to us, Blair?
On the internet. Twitter.
Yes.
And Instagram.
Yes, Twitter is at Filmageddon Quiz and Instagram is at Filmageddon.
Yes.
We have our answers, though. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Drum roll, please. Go. Shoot. Hit me with it. Bang.
Mine's Jumanji.
Good one. That is a good one.
What's yours?
It's Enemy. Denis Villeneuve. See, I respect him so much I'll even say his name properly. Denis Villeneuve.
I did not know that you were... wait, is he
French Canadian?
Is he Mexican?
French Canadian.
Okay.
French Canadian. Yeah. Yeah, I knew you were. Yeah, that's my favorite one because the spiders don't make any. It doesn't make any sense why there's spiders. There's spiders in it. I'll not spoil the film, but why? Why is the spiders in it? Don't know. But I like whenever I have to ask that question. You know, whenever I'm watching a film.
Well,
why?
I think I tried to, but why? I looked up at when we'd kind of like sort of said beforehand what we were going to do, and let's pull back the curtain once more. You said enemy, and I typed it in, and it just said the suggested videos are enemy explained, and then just a picture of Jake Gyllenhaal and some spiders. And another one says enemy movie ending explained, not the spiders. And I'm like, well, I guess, are there spiders? By the sounds of it, there are. I'll take your word for it, though.
Do you like old Jakey G?
Yes.
Right, so imagine he was in a film. You can imagine that because he's been in films. Imagine him in a film, but imagine he's in 2 roles. He's 2 people.
Whoa.
And I can't remember, maybe he takes his shirt off. I know you like that sort of thing. So
you work with what you've got, okay? If he's hard-bodied and the guys and the girls want to see it.
It's a Denis Villeneuve film, so you're getting the good stuff. Bit trippy, bit strange color gradients that make you think, oh, what's going on here? Is he confused or is the world confused? You know what I mean? And also it was written by a fella called Jose Saramago, he did a book. I guess it's probably a novel. I don't know if he wrote the screenplay. He wrote a book called Blindness that I read ages ago, which I thought, that's cool, in a world where like blindness was contagious. I think they made a film about it, actually. Now I'm saying it out loud. But I enjoy his work also. So the 2 combined, that's a spicy meatball.
Well, I tell you what, you have served up a plate of a recommendation. And will I take a nibble? I don't know. But I wonder what Frank Soldato would think his favorite film was that contains spiders.
I definitely have at least a mild case of arachnophobia. Like, I'm not going to go running out of the house if I see a daddy long legs, but anything bigger than that, and I will definitely scream like a little girl. It has happened. There's proof out there. So it does take a lot for me to enjoy something with spiders, especially realistic depictions of them. I mean, Arachnophobia, the film, as a kid, scared the shit out of me. I mean, I've grown to like it now because of what it is, and I can see past just killer spiders, but yeah, I mean, realistic depictions of sort of venomous spiders, not so much, which is why I think my favorite film involving spiders, I mean, obviously I love all the Spider-Man films and stuff, but I don't want to take those answers. Those are, for me, that's like a cheap way out. I'm going to go with 8-Legged Freaks, and that's right, that is the film starring David Arquette, the former WCW champion. It's so fun, it's so campy, it's like a classic, like, 60s, 70s, like, film, like a schlocky film like that. I actually remember entering a contest on must have been like MSN or something back in the day. Ended up actually winning a signed poster from the film sent to me from the production company. Used to hang in the wall of this spare room in my house. So yeah, I love 8-Legged Freaks. I love how campy it is. I like how fun it can be. And all the spiders have some really fun personalities. Great film. If you haven't seen it, go out and watch it. And that is my answer to the most important question. Guys, back to you.
So, Blair, we need to ask another question of the week.
I like it. Shoot for the stars and tell them. Let them know. Let the people know. Let my people go. Prince of Egypt, go.
Okay. In America, the home of the Philly cheesesteak, the Frank Soldato.
Oh, I know him.
Jake Gyllenhaals of the world, yeah? You put those 3 together, what have you got? A whole meal, that's what I say.
Oh, give me a piece.
You can. It's for free. We're having a barbecue. Come over. So we're entering the weekend of the 4th of July, as you know.
Yep.
It's the 4th of July this weekend. Something happened in America. What is it?
Independence Day.
Yes, Independence Day. Now, this question is not about aliens and Independence Day. It's about the 4th of July weekend. A big question of the week, if you could make a film out of any holiday, what would it be and what genre would it be? Now, I think that question is fucking class. I did not come up with it. It was Frank who came up with this.
Go on, Frank.
I think that question is class because we've all done it, and we've all seen that, like, when was it, like, Valentine's Day came out, that film, or, like, New Year's Eve came out, and we're like, oh, God, really?
Yeah.
But I reckon there's some fucking weird holidays out there that deserve
more recognition.
More recognition, exactly. Would you do a Kwanzaa? Would you do a St. David's Day? I don't know.
Not that one.
No.
I would do, I don't know, I would probably type in a date. Okay. I'll save
You
it for
save
the next
that.
one.
You save that for the next one,
nearly
okay?
let the cat
Don't
out
show
of the
your
bag.
working just yet. Maybe everyone should do that. And listen, if you're struggling for ideas, type your birthday in, find out what kind of day it is, and then just give us the fucking best. And you can
Yeah.
tweet us at Filmageddon Quiz or on Instagram, which is at Filmageddon, or you can email us at which is I was going to say at then 2 minutes. This is a fucking what a weird world we live in. Filmageddonfilmquiz@gmail.com. But yeah, we're moving on now. Move on to our next bit, which
Yep.
is what films have we watched?
You know what? It's a staple diet of the quiz of the podcast. Sorry, got that confused. But it's good to it's good to keep up to date with each other, and it also inspires you to actually watch things instead of sitting, playing Football Manager all day. But
Okay,
I ask
listen,
you.
You're preaching
I'll
to
ask
the choir
you this
here.
time. Yeah,
Oh.
you ready?
Yep.
What film did you watch last?
Thanks for asking, Blair. That's so
No.
kind of you. The film that I watched last was Toy Story 4.
What's the verdict? Good or bad?
It's good. I just don't want to see another one. It was enjoyable. It was enjoyable. Like it is good. It's just the way that after like Toy Story 3 or around the time of Toy Story 3 they were always releasing like shorts to play on
Yeah.
like Sky Movies and whatever.
Yeah.
There's definitely parts of it I felt like, man, you're just trying to do like you've got bits. You've not got a film. You've got little bits that you want to fit in.
I get you.
Especially because I said, and I sort of I didn't call in because it's a podcast, but when I was on the plane last week, I watched Toy Story again, and it was so tight, and so it kind of inspired me, like, fuck it, I'll just go and watch fucking Toy Story. But the problem is that Toy Story, the original, was made for children, and obviously all ages can enjoy it. But it's definitely difficult because at this time now we're watching it, the people who originally watched Toy Story as they were kids are fully grown up now, so now it's got the extra burden to be both good for a developed mind and also still good for kids to enjoy.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
all
think-
right, like
Like that idea, the follow on from that, the fact that it came out in the mid 90s, the first one, then Toy Story 3 came out in 2010, which is
I think,
when
was it? Yeah,
roughly, give or take a few years. So that
Yeah.
would have been like the growth would have been from like literally a little kid to being, in your early 20s, or maybe, and so the story of Andy you would have just done it yourself, sort of. But
Yeah.
now with 4, it's like, what is he, like 29 in it? What is it? It's hard to.
he's got 3 kids and a mortgage now.
Yeah. He's got a 9 to 5. He ain't got no time for toys. They're gonna
No.
get up to hijinks.
He's probably shagging now, Andy. Right now, at this
Oh.
moment.
Good man, get it in. Which character from Toy Story?
Oh God,
Would-
no. Yes, go on. Say it.
No, I don't know if I should. No, okay. Which Toy Story character would you do the dirty deed with?
It's a good question. I would probably either fuck the snake that the robot carries away in Toy Story 1. Possibly, I mean, the easy one would be something like Jessie or whatever, but it's too easy that. I think probably or one of the scary dolls from the first one. Maybe the doll with the fucking
The pincers,
pterodactyl
the
head.
Not a bad idea.
The baby head had a spider body, so I mean, you can technically count that as spiders.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck. Well. I wish I'd
What
have
about you? What a doll would you fuck from doll? It doesn't have to be the doll.
that.
What cowboy character would you fuck from Toy Story?
We've really devolved to this. I would, the little green guys with the 3 eyes that go, ooh.
Yeah,
I would do that. 'cause
Pre
then
Minions.
that would be like the most impressed anyone would have sounded after seeing my penis. So I would do that.
He has chosen us.
The hand. Yeah, and I just go,
The hand. He decides who go and who will stay. So
dear.
dark.
That's dark, yeah.
God bless them. God bless Disney, the overlords. What
Yes.
was the film that you last watched?
So the last film I watched was the Danish film Festen, which I believe in English is The Celebration.
Bloody hell! What a fucking what 2 polar opposite films here.
Pretty much,
so
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
did you enjoy it?
Fucking loved it. Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Have you seen it? Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I sort of watched it. Well, good old Luke Ibbotson, fellow podcastian. He recommended it to me probably last weekend or the weekend before, and I thought, fuck it, I'll watch it because I'm going to go and see Midsummer, which is coming out soon, the new Ari Aster one, and it sort of felt like it would fit. It's a bit of a whet the appetite for that sort of film, and
Yeah.
fuck, I absolutely loved it. It is like it's so well, obviously the way it's shot and all that.
Oh, like the Dogma 95.
95, yeah, all that shit where you
yeah.
don't. It's all yeah. So
Yeah.
it was initially a bit of a culture shock because I've watched loads of, because it came out in 1998, so there was obviously fucking Men in Black probably and all by then, the Matrix, so it wasn't like it was a complete yesteryear, but they use all handheld stuff, and but it gets so weird, but it kept me hooked, like right from the very start, like the very first scene. You're like, right, something's obviously not right here, but you don't know what. And then as it just develops, it gets weirder and weirder. And then, yeah, I fucking loved it. It was really good.
Yeah, it's definitely not one of those films that you want to tell. I mean, the basic sort of story, if I remember, is that there's a family reunion. And there's basically something happens between
So it's-
one family member and the next.
Yeah, so it's a big family reunion in like an old hotel in like rural Denmark, and they're a big fancy family, so they've got loads of extended family, and they're all going for the dad's 60th birthday, and things unfold as they do. It was similar to, like, I quite like films like that, like where it's a real innocent, wholesome, like Funny Games, or it's quite similar to that actually, or
Yeah.
The Invitation. Even though The Invitation, did you watch that? The one, I think it was on Netflix a while ago.
I don't think so.
Nah, it was pretty good, but it's ones where like everyone's invited around and you're like, oh, I wonder what this is about.
Yeah.
And then it obviously all goes awry. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a film.
It's interesting seeing that dynamic as we've sort of gotten older and been able to kind of, shoot our own stuff or whatever. We've always kind of like, because we used to film sketches, didn't we? Remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
The way that we kind of approach things with some of our little shorts that we've done is that we've always kind of tried to know that our budget was lower, so we've kind of tried to keep everything more natural. There's never been a case of like, oh, and then this happens and this happens, but because we've knew that we'd never have the budget to be able to do that. So I think it's interesting that these people who are like fucking Lars von Trier were like, oh, let's just actually force ourselves to make everything natural. So, and obviously that's more about the sort of Dogma 95 kind of the manifesto. But I think Festen is fucking, when you don't know too much and when you go into it, and you're right, it's kind of like as shocking as the story is, it's only heightened by the way that they filmed it all.
Yeah. Like whenever Luke told me about it, I was fairly pissed. So he might have mentioned a few things about the story, but luckily I was too pissed and I forgot. And so I got to watch it with blissful virgin eyes. It was fucking, it was something else.
We are now in the month of July. You've made it
That's
this
true.
far in your life, and I'm very proud of you.
Thanks, mate. Me too. I'm proud of you.
Thanks. It was both unexpected, I think. A lot of people
Yeah.
would have said the two to make it this far. But with July comes more films. There's always films releasing all the time. Hollywood never takes a day off, does it?
Nope. Except when the writer's strike happens.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Hollywood never takes a day off unless there's a strike for workers' rights, which,
Yeah. I
fair
like.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it throws a fucking spanner in the works. Do more of them.
Do it again, yeah.
Please.
Fuck it. I don't need Men in Black 5 or whatever. Just fucking go on strike. Hit a few bongs, take a few weeks off, and then write a film
Yes.
that's not fucking gack. Sorry. Got on
I'm
my
with you with
soapbox
this
a
one.
bit there.
That's Blur's
also
manifesto.
Find
Blur
every billionaire
96.
in the country and kill them and give the money back
Yes.
to... yeah? And then...
Yeah, I'm with you.
I've run out of steam. I don't know. I didn't realize it would be getting to proclaim my hatred for so many people, but come back to me later in the podcast and I'll think of someone else to brutally murder
You
type
can
of people.
also check out Blair on Twitter, who will be doing the same thing.
Who will be banned from Twitter shortly.
It's July, and there's been a lot of films released. So we're going to go through the films they're releasing this month. Me and Frank went through this list last month for June. We're going to go through and say what films are released this month. And for each week, Blur, if there's a choice, I want to be able to say, would you go and watch this film or would you go and watch that film? Because realistically, a lot of people only go to the cinema maybe once a week on average, I'd say. Some people even less, but once a week at film outing, tickets are expensive. You've only got money for one.
Yeah.
So let me, we'll decide which film we'd want to see each that week.
Perfect.
So, as of release of the podcast, it's the first week of July. And that means that July the 2nd, which was Tuesday, Spider-Man Far From Home released.
I've seen it on buses.
You have? I don't think we need to talk too much about Spider-Man. I'm sure we'll do something a little bit more in-depth very soon about this. But are you excited about this one? What did you think of the last one?
Didn't watch it, so nope, not interested.
Okay, we're going
Which is... so whatever the next film you're going to say, it's probably that one. Unless it's Men in Black 5, really quick turnover.
Yeah, they need the money back.
I don't mind. It sort of ties in with what we were talking about last week of films you would watch on a plane. I would definitely watch the last one. What was the last one? Homecoming, yeah.
Homecoming,
I have nothing against the Spider-Man franchise. Actually, it's one of my favorite. I actually don't. I quite it's always enjoyable, easily digestible. They use the mandibles, you see.
I see. Yes. Good spider references there.
You know what? Maybe I will. Fuck it. Maybe I'll watch Homecoming and then I'll go and watch Spider-Man Far From Home because I usually do have fun. So, wow, I've convinced myself. That's great. What about you? I'm guessing you're excited.
I am excited to a degree. I think it's very interesting when all of these Avengers films were coming out and there was so much don't spoil it. And already on Twitter I've seen this is the ending explained. And I'm like, well, don't tell me that the ending's going to need to be explained. Because I already have my theory about what I think's going to happen in the film, especially with the main good guy or bad guy, should we say, the accomplice that's in it, who Jake Gyllenhaal is playing. So I don't want to be told that there's a twist, basically, which is,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, now you've told me, so thanks.
Oh, sorry, everyone. I don't know if there's a twist or not, but it just says to be explained. So maybe it's it goes over people's heads or whatever. I don't know, and I'm sure I give people who listen to Film getting a little bit more credit than that. But I'm interested with it. I enjoyed the last one. I enjoyed the way that they handled doing a more realistic version of the Vulture, who is the main sort of bad fella in that one. So I'm interested to see what they do with Spider-Man and Mysterio and the world that he finds himself in after the Avengers last one.
Yep, which I still haven't watched actually. So
wow, you've got some catching up.
I do.
You're on Feston, so that was what
1998.
Yeah. So okay, we'll talk about this in 20 years time, and we'll
yeah.
Okay, well, also July 3rd, which is the Wednesday, was Midsommar.
Yeah, that one. I choose that one. Before you even ask, I want to go to see that one.
Do you know what it's about? Because I've only seen one or two trailers, and I'm like, I still don't fully get what the fuck is going on.
Well, I think that's sort of part of the whole thing, isn't it? From what I understand, it's a load of fucking lads go to Sweden to do the Midsommar. I believe that's the proper pronunciation. Festival, and they do all that mad half Viking shit where they put crowns on their head and I don't know, laugh, drink some weird liqueur that no one's heard of, and then no doubt something extremely strange happens and people become dismembered, maybe haunted. I'm gonna guess that someone maybe drowns in a lake. There's gonna be forests involved. I bet the forest is probably evil, haunted. Something like that is what I'm assuming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's all about cults, and do you know what? It's weird that I remember when me and Frank went to the film festival, the London Film Festival, a few years ago, and we watched the Endless, about two lads traveling to basically a commune, but it ends up being sort of a cult. So when I saw the trailer for Midsommar, I was a bit like, I'm a bit tired now of this. But you know what? I'll give it a go.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exact kind of film that I watch. Like, if it's like, this is sort of like, this is what I was talking about when I was talking about Festen. It's, oh, look, everyone's coming to this and we're gonna have fun, right? Wrong. Someone's gonna die brutally. There's gonna be brutal scenes of strange, and like, because I loved Hereditary, so if it's anything like Hereditary, I will be fucking rock hard in the cinema.
And I fear for anyone sat next to you, but
it's gonna be one of our friends. It's gonna be sat next to me, and they're gonna, it's not.
They'll
gonna
be gyrating too.
Probably, yeah.
And maybe you guys should film it. Just film whatever happens.
Film the film. That's a good idea. What we should do is film the film.
Yeah,
while
we'll give away a release. It'll be on our Google Drive, and you just have to send us £1, $1 do, and we'll send you the cam version.
That's a great idea. Right, we'll talk about this offline.
Yes.
We need to run it by the corgi first. Because he might have a few things, because it's potentially illegal. Not a lawyer.
He may have a bone to pick.
Exactly.
But he's not. But he's not a skeleton. It's a dog. It's still back. We're talking about dogs again. So even that week it's Spider-Man and Midsommar. You're going to watch Midsommar. I'm going for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Okay, we've decided. Great. That week is over. The next week.
Can I just say, sorry, that that is actually exemplifies probably the two choices that I feel like I have in going to the cinema these days. Something like Spider-Man and something like Midsommar that has to be like that's the I don't know, I started with that and I thought it was going to be a bit intelligent, but I realized it wasn't. That's fine.
No, I think you're completely correct, and I think like when me and Frank were talking last month about this same sort of thing for June, there came down to like a lot of films were released with two on the same week, and we'd just be like, even what was it? Let me look. Oh, we talked to June. We had like I don't know, Child's Play and Pixar's Toy Story 4. Those two films came out at the same week, and a lot of people chose to go watch Toy Story 4 over those, clearly. But I think, like, you've only got so much money, you've only got so much time after work, and if cinema tickets cost a lot, if you're not on any kind of, like, plan or whatever, you've only got this choice to make, and sometimes it does come down to a binary, like, is it this one or is it that one? There are so many big films out that all of these smaller films just kind of get pushed down to like limited release. So it's interesting that Midsommar is going up against Spider-Man, because it does become a choice. Do you want to watch like the big comic book film, or do you want to watch something probably a little bit different?
Yeah, I don't think Stan Lee's going to pop up in Midsommar.
He might do. He might be the corpse at the end. I don't know.
Oh God, yeah. Fuck, I forgot he's dead. Yeah.
Well,
okay. What's the next week?
The next week is July the 12th, which is the Friday. It releases two films, Crawl and Stuber. Have you heard anything about these two films?
Yeah, well, I understand Crawl is, it's got, what do you call her? Goddamn name in it. Kaya Scodelario? I've butchered her name. And I think and it's a horror film, from what it's a sort of disaster horror film, and I think she really suits being in horror films. I don't know if it's a horror film. Do you have some sort
of kink you talking to us about? What's your deal?
I just think she, I think she's a good actress and I respect her. And if she does want to contact me, my number is 075. No,
Oh, hey! Come on now.
No.
Well, let me read you a little bit of the description. It says the movie is about a young woman who, while attempting to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped in a flooding house and must fight for her life against alligators.
Yeah. I don't care what the next film is. I'm going to watch that. Florida?
I think it looks... I don't know if it's in Florida. I didn't say Florida.
Yeah, because I just started reading the description. It's in Florida. And I respect everything that happens in Florida. Very normal. All very normal guys. And I think alligators are underutilized in horror films. Or not horror, like, these type of films. And we haven't had a good disaster sort of film in a while. Have we?
I mean, do you count stuff like the Avengers as a disaster film, or do you mean like real shit that could actually affect us, like Twister?
Yeah, like the Day After Tomorrow, all that sort of stuff. We're not really interested in that, and we probably should be, because we're heading straight for a natural disaster of massive kinds. But
do you think it's mainly because like those disasters are usually like slow burning and stuff? Or I mean, they had what was the film that they had like with? Fuck, was it like Nicole? Oh no, was it not Nicole Kidman? Where it was like based on like the tsunami, and they just basically like whitewashed the film.
Naomi
Watts.
Naomi Watts, yeah, and it was that was called like whatever it was called, yeah. That's true.
It's a slow burn though, isn't it? It's usually, and also like a lot of like stuff that's like natural disasters like weather are predicted, so you don't have that element of surprise. But it does look interesting from watching the trailer for Crawl that like a lot of it is her in a house, so you go, okay, familiar setting, and it seems like they're going to be like preying on like confined spaces, crawling through water, which is something that, as naturally is fucking terrifying, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested in it. But then there's another film that comes out that week, as we've said, Stuba.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about Stuba?
Yeah, old Batista.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I suppose I should actually describe the film and just. It's Batista is a Uber driver, right?
Ugh.
And he gets, or no, is it the other way around? Oh no, Kumail Nanjiani is an Uber driver. That makes more sense.
Why? Explain yourself.
Because Batista's obviously out there doing like weightlifting and fighting as a job, And
Kumail Nanjiani it looks pathetic. Is pathetic.
Yeah, sure. They're your words. I'd agree with your words. I wouldn't say them myself. Yeah, it looks like it could be funny. I think I have a lot of faith in everything that Batista does for some reason. I just trust him. I think he's got big, strong arms, and I think he knows what he's doing. So, I don't... Kumail Nanjiani is really hit and miss with me. Like, whenever he's funny, he's really funny. And whenever he does that sort of raise of the eyebrow, like, actually, it's a bit... I just turn off quite quickly. So, it remains to be seen. It looks like it's going to be, like, quite a... it's one of those dynamic, action-packed comedy ones, which, they're always enjoyable enough, aren't they? Like, what do you think?
I think same as you. I think I really do trust Batista for some reason. Again, is it do I get lost in his eyes? Would I feel safe in his arms?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I have a friend back home who used to say that she wanted to be lifted up and Batista bombed by him. I don't know. Like there's levels to it. I think he's definitely seeing how he performs in stuff like the Avengers. You kind of automatically go, oh, he's great at comedy. And you go, well, is he great at comedy, or is he great at the comedy, the scripts that he's given? I do think he does a lot with them, but I'm definitely, it's definitely about time we see him doing this kind of thing and taking more of a lead as well.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think he's done well as like the, fucking 6th or 7th person, like in Blade Runner and Hotel Artemis even. He was good in it. But he's never been given like the co-headline spot. Well, to my knowledge, has he?
No, I don't think so either. So I think you're right. I just want to see him doing more, and I think it must be difficult being as I'm not about to feel sorry for a fucking multimillionaire who's built like a fucking shithouse, but
yeah.
It must be difficult in a way, because if you want to become an actor and you want to go into acting, you want to be able to get given all these different roles and
be taken
people
seriously.
And taken seriously, and like look at Bruce Willis has always got to do like his action stuff, but he was always able to like have a chance to dip into his comedy and like or try and do more sensitive stuff as he's gotten older. He can't do it, but he can try. He's given an opportunity. But when you're built like fucking Batista, then it's hard to be like, and he's also plays a sensitive soul. It's like, well, why would he? Just from a purely aesthetic point of view, you'd be like, well, he's not sensitive. Like he's a shithouse.
I suppose it's sort of the way The Rock went, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But Batista's been able to jump doing stuff like The Scorpion King. I think he said he's done a few like bad films. Didn't he do a film where it was like a football film, and it was like based in like West Ham supporters or something.
What, you mean Green Street?
No,
No.
he was in another film, and it was like a football film.
Oh, I don't know. I only really started paying attention to him when he popped up in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Here we go. He was in Batista was in a film called Final Score, which starred Dave Batista as the lead, and Ray Stevenson and Pierce Brosnan. Now
I'm gonna watch
Pierce.
that. I gotta go. I'm gonna go and watch that. See ya. No,
Well,
joke.
it's all to do with like fucking terrorists and whatever. Former U.S. military Michael Knox visits his late brother's house in London to watch football with his niece. They've been in Afghanistan together, and they take him to a football game. And I don't know which football game they take him to, but either way, I'm fucking gonna watch this film. It looks
Yeah, me too.
The
Dog
film
shit.
was announced in February 2016, represented as Die Hard in a football stadium.
Sign me up. I wonder what gave him more PTSD, watching West Ham or being in an actual war.
I have no idea if it's West Ham. I don't know where I've pulled this fucking.
Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. It's probably, yeah. Well, let's assume it was. It's
It
never
looks
like
a West Ham.
There's only ever been, wasn't it? Oh, no, Oceans. One of the Oceans films, it's the Arsenal coach. Remember that? I was going to say it's never big teams that get involved in this sort of stuff, but Arsenal did. Oh,
Arsenal did.
I said-
51st State. Like, that had Liverpool.
I said big teams. Oh.
Yes. Finally, this podcast has become what I wanted it to become all along. My manifesto.
No.
So, out of those two films, Crawl, which is a, it sounds very claustrophobic horror, or Stuber, which sounds like a comedy riot, if
Yeah.
you will. Which would you pick? What's got your money?
For cinematic purposes, probably Crawl, because I prefer watching horror films or, disaster thriller things in the cinema. Like, if I have a choice, like, I could watch, I think Stuber will have the same impact on me if I watched it at the cinema or if I watched it at home, or if I watched it through the windows of my neighbour's, living room,
Have
which
they
I
got a
don't
dodgy
do.
box?
No, yeah, they might do. I don't remember, but probably Crawl for me. But I'm not saying it's probably a better film, but I would enjoy the cinematic experience more. What about yourself, Adam?
I think I'm gonna. Do you know what? It's pretty lame, but I just kind of have to agree with you. Today, I think it's got. I don't know. It looks interesting. I think being able to watch it in a cinema, watching a horror film in a cinema with the right audience is gold dust, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. Watching a comedy in the cinema sometimes you're like, I could have watched this at home, and I think. While I'm not going to remember this conversation in 5 minutes' time, I think that those two definitely. I like the way there's the option of two things completely different, very much like with Spider-Man and Midsommar.
Yeah, agreed.
So, July 19th
yes,
has got one film coming out, so you have no choice. Yeah, just one film. I mean, all of these others have had like limited releases, and we'll talk about that for the next week one, but. July 19th has one film coming out, and it is the live-action remake of The Lion King. Live-action being a fucking stretch of the truth. But yes.
Yeah, true, actually, isn't it?
What do you think about all these kind of like live-action remakes that Disney are doing for themselves? And would you, even if I've not got a gun to your head and I'm forcing you to go and sit in the cinema to watch it, would you go and watch it yourself?
No. Nah. Probably not. I don't really. I don't think I saw the fucking original. Apparently.
What?
Whenever I was a kid, I've missed out on a lot of Disney films. I think the first film I really remember watching and enjoying, it might be Scary Movie.
What?
But there must be ones before that. No, I know I watched the films,
surely.
but they were just in front of me. But the story is that whenever my mum took me to see The Lion King, obviously I don't want to spoil it, but there may be a death early in the film, and I just got so upset that I just cried and I was like, I don't want to watch this. The fucking guy died. This is shit.
A guy died?
I didn't say it like that.
I'm sure you did.
I probably
did.
Yeah. And so then I was like, I'm alright. But I don't think I watched it since then. But I would. I don't know. I don't care. Beyonce is a fucking lion. There's lads knocking about. Seth Rogen's in it. What's he doing? What animals don't smoke weed? So
Timon,
how's he gonna,
Pumbaa will. Pumbaa in this one will, I
how's he
imagine.
gonna smoke weed? Doesn't have
Through
hands.
his fucking big nostrils.
Nah.
Timon rolls it for him, and then Pumbaa just smokes it.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I will watch it if that happens. Fuck it. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I just don't care. In my heart of hearts, I just don't care.
Be honest.
What about you?
I never watched the fully all the way through. I've seen it on a little bit on TV. The live action Jungle Book. I couldn't be arsed with that.
I watched that.
But you enjoyed it, didn't you?
Moderately. It was all right.
So you've not seen The Lion King fully, but you've seen the live action Jungle Book.
Yeah, just if the Lion King had been on at the time, out and on at the time that the Jungle Book was on, I would have watched the Lion King. It was just something to do. I wasn't like dying to see it. It was, and also I'm a single guy on my own. I'm just not gonna sit in a cinema fucking watching the Lion King on my own.
Why not? It's a perfect place.
I mean, I did it with Detective Pikachu, and I felt fucking weird. So, what do you think? Are you gonna go and see it?
I don't know. I'm a big fan of The Lion King. I'm a big when I was a kid, first like trip to London. I remember we went to the theater with school to watch the not live action, the fucking theater.
You went to the zoo, mate.
Yeah. It was in Regent's Park, and
there was a really big stage.
Yeah, Mufasa was sleepy a lot of it. No, I enjoyed Lion King. It's just number one. I think recently I rewatched like for the 50th time in my life one of those videos where it's talking about how Disney basically ripped off Kimba the White Lion for the original story of the Lion King. So, and also the built on that of going like, well, if it's the exact same film, why would I want to watch it? I've watched the fucking shot-for-shot remake of Funny Games, but at least that was like, we have to make it look exactly the same, and for no other reason other than it's in English. There's no other reason why they made it like that. And it was also fucking Michael Haneke just kind of trying to challenge himself. The Lion King live action remake, and it'll just be like with new songs. But don't worry, we've got fucking James Earl Jones back, the iconic voice of Mufasa. And you're like, cool. Who else you got back? No one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about Jeremy Irons, who's fucking class as Scar? No, it's your fucking man, whatever his name is. I just despair. I despair that that's how Disney are doing things, and I await the day that they run out of everything they've got to do, and they're trying to do a live action remake of fucking Song of the South, which is that fucking banned racist one.
Racist one, yeah.
Let's see them really. Let's see how bold you can go with that. And I want them to run out of stuff to remake so they can go. Because Pixar have announced after Toy Story 4, they were like, this is the last time we're going to do... They said that, but then they're doing fucking Frozen 2, and I'm sure Frozen 3. But they want to focus more on original content, and that's a great thing. If you're the market leader, if you own 90% of the fucking things we watched, why are you shoveling out sequels and remakes and everything? So I probably will go watch this film, sadly. That's a sad thing I'm going to say.
Yeah. I don't blame you. Like, if I could end up watching it also, but I just don't foresee it.
Well, that's fine. Well, we've got one more week left of July after this. Now, there is one big film and a few limited release films. This week. So it's July 26th. Again, all of these dates can change and whatever, and I'm not prepared to try and keep up with it. But the one big film that week is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is Tarantino's 9th or 10th film? 9th film, let's say. Yeah. Are you excited for it?
Yeah, pretty excited. I don't sound it, but I am. Yeah, I think like every Tarantino film, I'm always intrigued and excited to see what he's gonna do, especially with such a it's a true, well, I don't know if it's not a true story, but it's based on true events. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. If there's a film film with fucking Brad Pitt in it, I'll go and watch. I mean, not every film, but yeah, it should be good. I don't know. This is the thing. I don't know. Like, it's gonna be good, isn't it? It's gonna be enjoyable. It's not gonna not be enjoyable. Or, and you sound like you might think otherwise. What do you think?
No, I think I'm looking forward to it. I think it's interesting that it's going to be 2 hours and 40 minutes fucking long. But I'd rather... And Tarantino's one of these kind of people who's allowed to just make a 2 hour, 40 minute long film and they don't cut it down and they don't say, you have to lose this, that, and the other. He'll tell them his run time and they're like, okay, that'll work for us, fine.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see it. I'm not as interested when it's to do with... Margot Robbie is playing Sharon Tate, so I'm not as interested in that. I do think that, like, I've seen enough of Manson now. I'm not intrigued by it whatsoever. I'm not in the mystery of the man. Oh, he's so mysterious. Yeah, I fucking dweeb, man. I don't care about him, and I don't want to watch any more of that. But who else? It is the last film I think of Luke Perry, who died.
Of course,
died a few months ago, and he said, I listened to a podcast with his son in it, and he was saying how it was his dream to work with Tarantino. So it's kind of fitting that I think his last film was with him.
Poetic. It's nice. It's good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish he was still alive, but you know.
I wish it was poetic, and then a boy still got to watch his father enjoying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I wish it was. Yeah, I wish it was a nice kind of poetic, like, oh look, the flowers are blooming after a rainstorm, rather than my dad died, but at least he got to work with Quentin Tarantino. Yeah.
Well,
God bless
so
him.
it's a tough week that week for any of these limited release films coming out, but there is a film that's out coming out called The Mountain, which has got Ty Sheridan and Jeff Goldblum in it.
Okay. What are you thinking?
And
is it going to be absolutely wicked or
apparently it's described as a horrifying film about a young man who, after losing his mother, goes to work with a doctor specializing in lobotomies and therapies.
Okay. So, Jeff Goldblum's in it?
Yes,
right.
He plays the doctor who likes to lobotomize people.
Of course he is. He's a fucking pervert. Yeah, that suits him. Yeah.
Well,
old fucking Jeff, gonna be doing dirty, perverted things to people with half a brain. Yeah, he's finally found the film for him. I don't like him.
Well, and there's another film out that week, got limited release, and it's called Skin, and it's got Jamie Bell in it, and he has it's Guy Native's first English language film, feature film, and it stars Jamie Bell as Brian, with a Bryon, like Byron, but with the R in a different place. A destitute young man raised by racist skinheads and notorious among white supremacists. He decides to turn his back on Wigan and hatred and violence to transform his life. And he goes... With the help of the FBI, he undergoes 25 brutal tattoo removal surgeries in exchange for decoding the tattoos.
Yeah, I mean... Didn't Imperium with old Harry Potter do this sort of thing already?
Yes.
But fair
yes,
play.
I'm
always quite interested in like mad skinhead stuff, because how do you get to that point where you're like, you know what will make my life better if I tattooed loads of swastikas all over myself? Like that's always like the mental gymnastics. Well, I suppose it's usually you go to prison, and then the prison, you know, you're white, probably. I don't see many black lads with fucking swastika tattoos.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah, it's few and far between. But, sorry, yeah, I'm always intrigued, because they're like such a... How can you be so filled with hate? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm filled with, like, a mild amount of hate for specific stupid things, but not enough to, like, not things that you can, like, mobilize and try and fucking get your mates to do as well. That it also then involves trying to kill people. It's mad. There you go. There's my succinct fucking... racist skinheads, fuck me, they're mad, mate. Anyway, next.
Blood Tracy shoots on racism.
But yeah, what do you think? Are you gonna? I mean, I won't go to the cinema to watch it because that sounds like it'd be very uncomfortable.
Yeah, you want to know the kind of people who are going to be there. Are they there to see like?
Yeah, cheering. Like, are they all gonna start cheering at the end? You're like, whoa, guys! I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. They're like comparing tattoos and shit. Nah, I mean, I don't. Is it? Oh, you said limited release. Yeah, fair.
It's limited release. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to watch it.
I don't think I'm probably gonna watch it, to be honest. I think it sounds like. I think if you'd had the film and then you'd gone, maybe there's someone else who's in it, I possibly might have watched. But when you have the plot of the film and then they go, and Jamie Bell's in it, I'm like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
So the July film that I'm looking forward to the most to watch, I mean, really, like, there's one every week that I definitely want to see. Whether I get a chance to see them all or not is another story. I don't really want to take anybody else's answers for this, so you know what? I know the guys are going to want to see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I personally can't wait. Maybe they don't, not so much they don't want to see The Lion King. Personally, I'm excited for that. It looks like, you know, out of the 2 live-action Disney remakes that come out this summer, it definitely is the one that I'm more interested in, especially because it seems to basically be just a shot-for-shot remake. You know what? Stuber looks funny in its own way. Obviously, as a big Marvel fan, I'm excited for Spider-Man Far From Home. But I'm going with a sleeper pick here, and I am picking Crawl because, you know what? I've seen the trailers. It looks great. It looks like a bit of gory fun. Something that I've not seen probably since the remake of The Hills Have Eyes, which, coincidentally enough, had the same director, and hoping it's good, and hoping it's a bloody fun time. You see what I did there? Because there's going to be blood because of all the chompy chomps, and the people are going to go die. So, guys, that's what I want to see.
So, we are at the end of the podcast. We have reached the pinnacle, and we've tried our best to survive without our good friend, the Quizmaster, Frank Soldato, but always in our hearts, always in our thoughts, always in the DMs if you ever want to message him.
Yeah, he loves DMs. He loves getting asked for things in DMs. So DM him.
We're also thinking of adjusting our release date. We've always been releasing these on a Friday, and we've kind of, I don't know, we're coming to a certain point now with recording that we were thinking, well, maybe we should change the release date. So if anyone, I don't know, has any opinion about what kind of release, what kind of day you'd prefer to listen to the podcast, or what is your preferred listening day? How do you listen? Let us know at Filmageddon Quiz or at Filmageddon on Instagram or Filmageddon Film Quiz. And we might put a little poll up to say what works best for you. But I think that might be all the time we've got left, Blur.
Yes, unfortunately so. But all good things must come to an end.
Yes, or at least a temporary pause until the next episode.
That's true. Very true. Yeah, you can't say that after 90 episodes that it's come to an end. Yeah.
Jesus, it is 90 episodes. We are, number 100 is 10 episodes away. 9 episodes away. No, wait, 10. That's how numbers work.
That is,
90 plus 10 is 100.
That's true.
Well, I can't wait to get to episode 100. I am planning a big one, and I don't want to put too much of a fucking emphasis on it, but I'm planning a big one.
It's 2.5 months away, so
oh, thank God it gives me time to do something,
to plan something.
Yeah, if I start now, I might be able to do it. I want to just maybe we should just start paying like celebrities and just be like, okay, and now we've got some guy from Blazing Squad to be like £25 on fucking Cameo to be like,
Cameo,
hello,
yeah.
I like Filmageddon.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you for joining me today. Thanks for listening, everybody. And if you I don't know how you got here, but if you want to give us a rating on Apple's podcast thing, you can do that. Just search Filmageddon. If you want to give us a little rating on any of them, like I don't think you can rate on Spotify, but you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple, Player FM. We're not on SoundCloud because we're not. Stitcher, of course, I forgot. And obviously we're on Twitter at Filmageddon Quiz. Instagram is at Filmageddon. And yeah, thanks very much for that, Blair. And I will speak to you soon.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much. And love as always.